Hi Virgo, it's Kajora Lovely with your general reading for February 2019. Please keep in mind this is a general reading, so it may not resonate entirely with everyone. You can also check out my videos for your rising or moon sign. So let's see what's going on with you for the month of February 2019. Got a lot of fire energy this month, which is about action, communication, some planning going on. Okay. So, where you are now is the Queen of Cups, and this is also the Empress. So, I mean, I feel like it makes sense because it kind of relates to your symbol in astrology, the Virgin or the Maiden, and but it's also about that abundance, fertility aspect, also emotional maturity, empathy, really feeling like you connect to other people, but also the earth. But at the same time, there's some kind of conflict and maybe a situation that feels stifling that you are either getting out of or are deeply embedded in. This could be verbal conflict, emotional. I keep hearing verbal. So I feel like it could even be that what could be making you feel stuck is having the same fight or same discussion or same kind of conflict, argument. It can also be litigation. Sometimes it relates to legal issues that you're having with someone that doesn't really feel like it's going anywhere, and it just feels like this sort of unending death spiral that you want to be done with. Let me see if there's any advice on how to get out of that situation or if it's coming to an end. Well, you've got a new beginning. So if I take that as something is coming to an end. It can come to an end if you want it to. And if you're not seeing the way to get out of it, one thing I would say to consider is if there's any good aspects of this. If it's someone that's giving you attention who you really want attention from, or if there's a possibility that you can get money out of it, whatever it is, whatever your connection to this conflict is, you might need to do some examining with that, because in your short-term future position, you've got the Moon and also the Eight of Cups, which can mean leaving something behind. So you may need to walk away after a certain point, but you might also need to do some introspection and reflection about that, about why you're in this fight, what you're fighting for, and whoever you're arguing with, are they in this with you? Are they against you? Are you really at odds with each other, or are you trying to reach a mutually beneficial end? So it feels like there isn't some self-reflection that needs to happen, some analysis of like, what am I getting out of this? Even if it's just the thrill of having the fight, that adrenaline rush, getting into the fight or flight mode. You know, what is it that you do like about that? But at the same time, I feel like some of you don't, because what's crowning you is looking for new opportunities. Now, this can also mean diving into a conflict. So for those of you, there may be some of you who are like, where's the fight? Where's the next fight? Or you're like, I'm ready to go. Is there a healthier place to direct all that energy? To your emotions. So it's kind of funny because you got the Queen of Cups for where you are now, and where they're saying to direct your energy is the King of Cups. So it's really moving from in the next level up when it comes to mastering your emotions and you sort of being in charge of them not ruling you. You're ruling them. And it's not a matter of suppressing them, because this card has been coming up so much lately. With all the creatures in it, especially since I felt guided to use this deck for these readings, I would take this as there's a wild aspect to this. There is that animal aspect to it. So it's not that you think, oh, I'm sad, this is so inconvenient, I don't really feel like crying right now. It's more of saying, I'm sad, I feel like crying right now. What is this emotion that needs to be released? What is the pent-up frustration or anger or fatigue that's coming up and bubbling out of me in the form of tears? Because it's really just an energy release. I mean, yes, it can be related to sadness or joy, but sometimes it's also just stress that has nowhere else to go because you haven't found another way to release it yet. So it's also a way of saying, what do these emotions serve me? What are they doing for me? What are they teaching me? What are they showing me? And how can I use that to my advantage? How can I use that moving forward? I feel like this is a theme a lot of people are going through at the moment. So it's not just you, but it's also a matter of taking that inventory. Again, with this moon card, figuring out what you want. And then as far as what's sort of the reason for this reading is the High Priestess and the Two of Pentacles. So this can mean two different things. It can mean using your intuition and getting in touch with your spiritual, mystical, intuitive side. And also it relates to water and emotions and getting in touch with that feminine energy within you, because we all have feminine energy within us. And it's a matter of feeling it and letting those feelings flow and not feeling shame or guilt or regret or anything, thinking that you are an oversensitive woman, or you're letting your masculine side, you're letting that side down or something, or you're doing what you're not supposed to or whatever, or you're feeling like maybe you're acting like out an old pattern. It's a matter of getting in touch with your inner self. That's really what it's about. And acknowledging and noticing your feelings is simply a part of that. And then with the Two of Pentacles, it can also mean juggling different things or making a decision. So there may be something in here too with this conflict, or even with your own feelings of fertility, abundance, creation, whether that's related to work or actually having children, creating new projects, that sort of thing, or your emotions. But there's a note here with the King of Wands and the Magician. This is a reminder that you have the ability to create the things that you want in your life, but there's also a cautionary tale with this because it's in reverse. So it's about not coming from a place where you are being manipulative or underhanded or conniving, hurtful, any of those things. It's really about using your powers, your abilities, some of you, your magical abilities, to craft your own abundance, but not to the detriment of other people. And I feel like for some of you, you may actually need to take a step back if you feel that what you're doing isn't quite right for you, or if something happens and you feel like you hurt someone in some way. So with the Magician part of it in there, you can see there's the four elements. There's the pentacle, the sword, the cup, and the wand. And that's fire, water, earth, and air. And I feel that for you to find balance, I just keep seeing the cup. So I think it's really getting in touch with your emotions and that water element for you this month. And one thing to keep in mind is that the 5th, early part of February, is Chinese New Year, which is in a new moon. And it's the year of the pig, for those of you who are the pig. But also it's ending a 12-year cycle that started in 2007. So it could be that there are a lot of things that you're healing from the last 12 years. And their karmic cycles, their endings are things you're letting go of, things that are going to start anew. And this also relates, the King of Wands also relates to your fire element, your creativity, energy, passion about making things, about building things. So it feels like there's something that you could do that you're not doing. So I feel like that's that take a step back, take a look at what it is, because it might make itself apparent to you. But at the same time, where you are, what's influencing you right now is this feeling of a need to have strength. So for those of you that have Leo in your chart, this may relate to you, especially those of you who are born in August. You might have a little bit more Leo aspects. Because the strength card relates to the sign of Leo. This is also the Ace of Wands. So this can mean you have a new project, or it can mean you're trying to find your own internal strength while you're going through this, you're sort of bogged down in this quagmire of doubt. That's what I'm hearing. You're kind of like trying to race Ooh, some of you are trying to race through your feelings and not feel them. And I feel like that doesn't entirely serve you. You know, it's important. Your emotions are telling you something. They're communicating with you about your state. So in the future, you may need to change your perspective about something. And this is also that need to make a decision. So it's very similar because you have the Two of Pentacles here, which is about making a decision. And here you have the Hanged Man and the Two of Swords, which is about making a decision. Sometimes this one with the Two of Swords can be a little bit more about feeling like you don't know what the right answer is. The Hanged Man is sort of an answer to that with changing your perspective, of taking a look around and seeing things differently. And sometimes it can even mean that you might be stuck in a position for a period of time, but it's because you're meant to hang out there and see what's going on and notice. It's really more about observing than action, if that makes sense. So that will be happening in the future. Now, some of you will also be coming into some money and prosperity with the King of Pentacles here. So this is about also feeling grounded, because this relates to your element, earth energy, and feeling that sense of stability, comfort, and peace in yourselves and in your environment, but also appreciating what you have and being able to have nice things around you that you enjoy. One of the things that's been coming up a lot in my personal readings, especially for people who like plants, is to put them in your home, you know, make your house beautiful, but put in the things that you like so that when you come home, you can spark joy and have the things that you just look at them and go, oh, and you like take a kind of a deep sigh, like, oh, I love this. And also there's a transformation and change coming up. This isn't just you. Pretty much everyone is getting this right now. So there's, it could also be a period of rest because it's also the Four of Swords. But it looks like, it just feels like it's a big transformation month for everyone. So it's not death literally. It's just some kind of change that you're going through. Yeah, and you'll be creating a stable foundation for yourself moving forward from that change, or at least through it. So just to recap, right now the lesson is about mastering your emotions, paying attention to them, not necessarily discounting them, but honoring them, validating them, and using them to your advantage. You're probably looking for new opportunities, and you'll be starting something new with the Fool card here. You might be tapping into your intuitive and mystical side this month, using your intuition a little bit more. You've also maybe leaving something behind or doing some internal work. You're reminded to take a step back if you feel like what you're doing isn't quite right or doesn't suit you, or you're doing things that you don't really agree with. But at the same time, you're also feeling some strength, but you don't have to do this to overcome your feelings. And you may have a new project. You're meant to make a decision, see things from another perspective. You're coming into some stability and groundedness, going through a transformation, and building that foundation for yourself. So I hope you have a wonderful February, and I will see you again next month.